Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way, if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way. If you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous, did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments, get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart, just to open your eyes up.
Yo, what's good, y'all? What's the word? What's going on? How everybody doing out there? Y'all already know what it is. We are back again, and it's time for the Thursday banger. It's time for the Thursday banger, y'all. That's a lock. It's time for the Thursday banger, and I got one. I keep a banger at all times. But like I always say before I start my videos off, I have no problem delivering this content to everybody that's out there working hard, working a 9 to 5. Everybody that's out there with their own business, getting to that bag the legit way. I make sure y'all got something to listen to in the morning times, and I promise y'all, there's no problem on my end. I also have no problem making sure I'm warning y'all and telling y'all about how dangerous prison is. The only thing I ask from y'all is just one thing, and that's just to stay out the way. That's it, man. And we're going to stay out the way because that's the key to life. Staying out the way is the key to life, man. Whether you think you believe it or think it ain't or not, staying out the way is the key to life, man. Trust me on that, man. Like, you're not going to be able to live a life of not looking over your shoulders. You're not going to have to worry about police kicking in your doors. You are staying out the way, man. The only thing you're worried about is paying bills and keeping food on the table, man, and a roof over your head. That's the only thing you're going to stress about. You're not stressing about the streets because you are staying out the way, man. When you staying out the way, man, I'm telling you, man, separate you, man. I came home and I was done with crime and I was just living life as a regular guy. It felt so good. It felt good, man, just to be regular, man. It felt good not to be in that place I'm telling y'all not to go to. It felt good, man. So please, man, for me, man, stay out the way because it's the key to life, y'all. Period. But y'all already know what it is, man. This is the Thursday banger game. So what I need y'all to do with this one? Like, share, subscribe. This one, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go. What? It's time for business. It's time for business, y'all. And the story I got for y'all today is called He Crashed Out. Part 1. It's a crazy story, crazy situation, but we are aware, people. We are in prison, man. So you already know crazy stuff happens all the time, man. You have people in there, man, that they just sometimes get to the point where they can't control themselves, man. They can't control what they're going to do. They don't care about the consequences. They don't care about nothing but self crashing out, man. I have seen it done a million times, man. Like, I have crashed out before. Like, you will have moments where you crash out. But, like, you got to be able to be stable in certain situations, man. And, like, in a certain situation where you're supposed to be stable at, man, you got to keep crashing out to the side, man. You can't be bringing crashing out situations around you in your life, because if you get to the point where you're ready to crash out, man, then something in your life is going wrong, man. So with that being said, though, we are on Lawrenceville for this, y'all. We are on Lawrenceville. And I can remember being a 60 building game for this one, y'all. 60 building, man, the new San Francisco, not the old joint. It's the second time in there, man. So like, around this time I'm in there, you know, I'm trying to get adapted to the building. I'm trying to get adapted to the pod. This is a whole new situation. I've been in 30 building for over 2.5, 3 years. So I'm trying to get used to being back over where they sent me to by accident the first time, man. So I'm in the block cooling. I got a good roommate, man. I'm not in there really trying to snap out and become the top lord, but I'm not in there really trying to snap out and have the la-la at all times. I'm just in there trying to observe stuff and see what's going on. I had no jiggity. I had none of that at this moment. I had no jiggity. I had none of that at this particular moment, man. So I'm just in there chilling, man. So out of everybody that was in there, man, I could count on my hand who was from the town in that pod. Now, it was people on that side of the yard, especially in 70 building. I'm in 60 building, but the people in 70, 80, it was a lot of dudes from the town. Not a lot of my guys, but a lot of dudes that I knew that was from the town. So it was people in there from Norfolk, but at the end of the day, I really wasn't kicking it with no dudes from Norfolk at this particular moment in the block. Now, I would, but not a lot of dudes, you know what I mean? So I'm in there one day chilling, minding my business, man. And y'all know they always got to bring new people into prison. Now, when somebody get transferred, they recycle it with somebody else that they bring into the prison. So it's always like that no matter what prison you in, man. So it was a few guys that ended up leaving my block, man. Like 60 building was one of those blocks where dudes was really staying out the way. Like I told y'all, dudes stay out the way a year charge free to get to Lawrenceville because they level drop. But dudes on Lawrenceville staying out the way to get their level to drop to a level 2 for they can go to Basketville, Coffeewood, St. Bride's, all those open dorm level 2s, man. So for the most part, with it being a lot of older guys in there, man, kind of like dudes be staying out the way, don't get no charges for real. Dudes be still trying to get transferred. So dudes was getting transferred to my block. So they ended up transferring a couple dudes. So we had a few cells open. So I'm in the pod chilling, man. I look up, you hear the dudes hit the police noise. So I'm sitting over by the laundry area. All I gotta do is just look down, but I'm sitting on the washing machine this time. So when I hear the police noise, I jump off the washing, I come and look. And I see they bring 2 dudes. You can tell when they knew. They got on what we got on, but it looked brand new, extra crispy, so you can tell they knew. So they come in, they got on a brand new Abraham Lincoln Games. Those the low top boots, the low top state boots. Lawrenceville was petty. They had the top, they had the state boots with the roof cut off on them jumps, man, on everything, man. So you can tell when somebody knew when they got those on, because you got to wear those out of intake, you know what I mean? So they bring the dudes in. So the first dude that was there, I seen, he was a little younger dude, kind of like probably about at age 27 or something like that. But the second dude, he was a little kind of like bald head dude, a little muscular, you know what I mean? Like I looked at him, I went to see that I recognized him. I didn't recognize him, I never seen him before, but clean shave, you know what I mean? Didn't have no facial hair game, you know what I mean? Look, this regular black dude, but you can tell kind of like, I could see the maniac in him. I could tell like from you know what I mean, from a distance that he got some psycho. And so I mind my business, I ain't say nothing. So they told him he was going in the cell at the top in the corner. You know what I mean? Not the one in the handicap, the one beside the handicap, the last cell on the top tier row. So he go to his joint, he go up the steps, he take his stuff in there, he get his stuff together. The other dude moved downstairs. So they got their stuff together, the CO's peeled out. So he come in the joint, he just stand by the pod, he started standing by the TV. Then he started looking at the bulletin board. So he started looking at the bulletin board. I see a dude pull up on him, start talking to him. So as dude started talking to him, I see a dude point up there where I was at. You know what I mean? So he pointed at me. I'm looking. And he like, hey, Weezy, hey, yeah, hey, look, he from the town, he from Norfolk. He from Norfolk. Now this dude from Portsmouth that's telling me this. I'm like, oh, for real? But I wanted to tell him like, yo, like, what you telling me for though? Like, like I don't care. Like, I don't care. I'm not on it like that, man. He was like, no, he from Norfolk. I'm like, I said, what's good, huh? He was like, you from Norfolk? I'm like, yeah. He was like, all right, I'll be up there. He gave me a look like, yeah, I'll be up there. I'm like, you be up there? I ain't tell you come up there, man. But all right, you know what I mean? So I'm sitting up there with the dude that wash laundry. Me and him sitting up there. So he come up the steps. He come down there where we was at. He came there. He was like, what's up, man? Bernard, man. I was like, all right, what's up? So I ain't jump off the washing machine to dap him up. I'm still sitting on the joint. He like, hey, what's up, Bernard, man? I was like, what's up, man? How you doing, man? I was like, Weezy, man. Old boy beside me that's worked laundry. He introduced himself. So he was like, yeah, you from Norfolk? I'm like, yeah. He was like, nah, I ain't seen the town since 1992. I said, man, 1992? I said, that's crazy, man. I thought to myself, I said, man, bro got locked up when Shaq got drafted. I said, that's crazy, man. I said, man, that's wild. I said, man, you been gone a minute. He was like, yeah. He was like, man, but that's why I can't come down to the lowland. You know what I mean? That's what all the counselors was trying to get me to come to the lowland. He was like, you know, once I come to lowland, everything could be good. Since I'm getting a little short, I am my parole. I can either get out from parole or I can get out on my release date. You know what I mean? So he ain't tell us his release date. So he just talking. So I'm like, man, lowland. So I ain't never really heard that. Like the saying of, you know, because I've been on Sussex. That was it. I've been to Sussex and Lawrenceville. So I'm like, lowland. So as he talking, he keeps saying, like, yeah, man, it feel good to be on lowland. Lowland feel good, man. I was like, yo, Unc. He was like, Bernard. I was like, all right, Bernard. I was like, look, why you keep saying lowland? He was like, oh, you know, because I've been in the mountains. I've been in the mountains, man. Yeah, so we call anything down from the mountains lowland. I wanted to say, man, what you think you in Scotland somewhere, man? This ain't the state that got the hills all over the place. I'm in lowland. Like, man, you wildin', man. I'm like, wow, so I ain't saying nothing about it. So he was like, yeah, so look, man, what be going on though, man? Because look, I'm trying to get a job. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to do that. He was just saying everything he trying to do. He was like, look, they be playing basketball. He was like, I play basketball. I do all of that. I'm like, psh. Like for real, I wasn't thrilled to hear all these activities that he liked to deal with, but I'm looking at his age, which, you know what I mean? Bernard probably was 45, you know what I mean? I'm looking at his age as far as he's not somebody that'll, you know, get into stuff. Because he got to learn me. I'm not just jumping out there for no dumb reason. I don't care where you from. You could have grew up right next door to me in Norfolk. I don't care, y'all. So boom. So I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt, man. You know what I mean? But he did name a lot of activities that he liked to do, but I ain't say nothing, man. So we sat up there and kicked it with him for a minute. You know what I mean? He finally found someone he could talk to. They put us on standby for child. I come downstairs. When I come downstairs, he pull up on me again. But that's how I be. When you meet somebody new in prison, like somebody from your town, and like, you know what I mean? You just got there, you pull back up, you know what I mean? You gonna walk the child with him. That's just prison stuff, man. So he pulled back up, you know what I mean? So he pulled back up. He like, yeah, man. I was like, yo, so how long you was in the mountains? He was like, man, I've been in the mountains for a long time, man. I did 5 years in the mountains. I'm like, man. He said, I was at Red Onion, then he sent me to Wallace Ridge. He said, I was doing a lot of time, man, up that jump, man. He said, then I ended up getting a job. I said, you got a job in the mountains? He was like, yeah, I got a job. And they just helped me get off that camp, and they told me to get down to lowland. And once I get down to lowland, then I'll be able to help me with either I can go home early on my parole, or I can do this. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's what's up, man. He was like, yeah, man. He was like, now that I'm here, you know what I mean? I can see my daughter, because when I was up in the mountains, she couldn't come all the way up there to see me. You know what I mean? So now I'm in lowland. That was his favorite word. Now I'm in lowland. Now I'm back in lowland. Then now she could come see me, man. I'm like, oh, that's what's up, man. I was like, where your daughter from? He was like, man, he told me the neighborhood. I'm like, that's what's up, man. So we go to Child. We come back. So we coming back from Child. We walking. I hear my man. I see my man. He in 80 building joint. It's a dude I know. He was from the town. Though he rocked with me. Me and him did a lot of good business when I was on the other side. And I'm over here. He just used to play fair with me, man. But he was about to go to the crib too. So he see me. You know what I mean? He was like, hey. He was like, hey, look. What's up? He was like, hey, look, me holler at you. I'm like, what's up? So I pull up, old head waited for me and everything. He was my bodyguard. He looking all diesel. He got that tight shirt on. He like, you good? I'm like, yeah, give me 1 second. He waited. He like this. He walking slow. He like, my homeboy like, yeah, look, bro. You know I'm about to slide. He like, look, man, my homeboy want to buy this jack. But he was like, look, he in the hole. He about to get out the hole. But he was like, when he get out, you got to give him the phone for him, man. He was like, look, you can use the phone. The phone's still on. The phone bill ain't due to this. I'm like, he was like, yeah, look, at dinner time, I'm going to bring it to you. He said, because I dipped Monday, you know what I mean? So he said, I'm not taking no risk. This was like Friday, you know what I mean? He was like, I'm not taking no risk, blah, blah, blah. I'm about to say, bro, you took the phone all the way to the door anyway, you know what I mean? So he like, look, this is what I'm going to do, though. He was like, look, I trust you. He was like, I don't trust nobody else, bro, because dudes in my building, they be wilding on. They might buck. Cause the dude ain't really all that, like dude don't go hard or nothing like that. He was like, I used to get the pack with the dude, you know what I mean? But he was like, I told him I was gonna leave him the phone, but he know he gotta buy it for a stack. I was like, for a stack? He was like, yeah, bro, for a stack. I was like, stack was crazy, but I'm like, all right. He was like, well, look, if he don't have the money, don't give it to him. He already know. I already wrote him the kite. He already know. He said, you gonna be able to take care of that for me? I said, yeah, bro, I got you, bro. He said, look, when he give you the money, he said, man, send me the money. You keep $300. I said, what if it's just $1,000? He said, all right, well, I'll send you $300. He said, I'm going to leave my number that my people's already got me. I'm going to put that in the phone for you. I'm like, all right. So I dap bro up. You know what I mean? Like, for real, like, that was, like, spontaneous. I wasn't expecting that type of play right there, but I was over in 60 building with no jack. You know what I mean? I'd have no jack at a particular moment. So I'm like, man, that's what's up. At least I get to use it. But I already knew I didn't want to keep it anyway, because I didn't even really want a phone in there. Like, I used to just use people jokes from time to time. I didn't want a phone while I was in there because I wasn't familiar with the building. But when bro told me this, I was like, man, this is crazy right here, y'all. So boom. So like that, I'm kind of back in action with the jiggity. You know what I mean? That fast. Go to pod, chill. They call dinner. I come back, meet bro. Bro, hand me the junk. I put that junk in my pocket. I couldn't even go eat because I didn't want to get the pack down. I was afraid of that. I shot back to the building, man. You know what I mean? So when Bernard came back, he seen me. He was like, hey, Weezy, why you ain't come eat? I thought you was walking with me. I said, I had to hit the U-turn, man. I had to hit the U-E, da-da-da-da. He was like, oh, that's what's up. You good? I'm like, yeah. So like for real, like he turned out to be an all right old head though, man. You know what I mean? Like he came up that joint, he didn't mess with the la-la, he didn't do none of that. You know? But he used to mess with the roll-ups though. He used to like the roll-ups, you know, the tobacco game. Hank, he liked to mess with the Hank here and there. So I called him upstairs, you know what I mean? Because I had something. I was like, look, but I got the junk too, so I'm debating you know what I mean? But I'm trying to find somebody that I can trust that I can juggle this with. You know what I mean? Because that's how you gotta do it, man. Slightly like I mean, in them other states, y'all can sleep all day and be comfortable with y'all joints, like, but on Lawrenceville, like, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Even though Lawrenceville was sweet, you still got to keep your head on a swivel. So I was just trying to find someone I can bounce it around to. And like, I was like, Unc might be a good candidate. And I started thinking like, nah, he ain't never been around no phones. He ain't never did nothing like this. So I'm like, nah, I don't really think I'm going to use this. I was like, but I'll probably tell him, but I'm going to see what's going on. So he come to the jump. He knock on the door. Like, yo, I see the arm. He had like a sweet ass tattoo that go around. I forgot, like a cross or something, like a big cross on his arm. I see the cross. He look. I'm like, all right, come on in. He came in. He's like, what's up? I'm like, man, I'm chilling, man. I was like, look, man, I got one of the roll-ups, man. He was like, for real? I was about to pass it to him because we was already messing with it, right? It was already in the air. I was about to pass on the joint. I was like, maybe this past, maybe this future, can't find a clear spot. I was like, old school. I was like, he was like, what you doing? I was like, no, my bad. I zoned out for a minute. He was like, you was just looking crazy in the face, man. What are you looking at me for like that? I said, man, I just told you I zoned out, man. You good? He was like, I had to snap back into it. Pause. I'm like, it's crazy, man. You know what I mean? I had to get myself back together because I had to double scan him. Like, it didn't work at first. I had to double scan him just to make sure everything was straight because I ain't want to mess with this, you know what I mean, with this roll up with him. And he shake, rattle, and roll game. Y'all already know the count. So I had to double scan him, man. So everything came back. All right, you got old heads. Everybody didn't shake, rattle, and roll. That's my scanners broke. Oh, no. But he turned out all right. You know what I mean? So we in the jump messing with the roller, kicking it. You know what I mean? And I just went on the toilet. I'm like, man, the jump vibrating in my pocket. I'm like, yo, look. I said, look, but nah, look, show you something. He was like, what? I was like, look. He was like, a phone. I was like, yeah. He was like, man, look. Man, I was about to go outside and play basketball. I'm ready to stay in there, man. I got to talk to my daughter. I'm like, you got to talk to your daughter? He like, yeah, I got to talk to my daughter, man. Yeah, for I ain't even let her know I was on low lane. I ain't got no money on the phone. I ain't got no money on the books. He was like, man, I ain't got no money on the phone. Only money I got is on my books for my job in the mountains. He said, man, I gotta talk to my daughter. So I said, all right, here. I get on the phone. He was like, he grabbed the jump. He was like, it's a touchscreen game. He was like, how I use it? I said, what you mean how you use it? I said, down in, you don't see the keypad? Down the numbers. He was like, it ain't no buttons. I said, man, come on, man. I said, look, press the joint, man. It's a touchscreen. He was like, touch what? I said, a touch screen. He was like, I said, man, give me, I said, what's the number, man? He was like, he went in his pocket. He put out his glasses case. He was like, he put his glasses on. He looked like Benjamin Franklin when he put them jumps on. He had the little circle jumps. I was like, look. He grabbed his phone book, he had rubber bands on it. He was like, he opened it up. He was like, 757. 277. I was like, down the number. I was like, here, man, it's ringing. He was like, I said, don't push nothing on the joint, man. He was like, he called his daughter name. He said, hey, baby. Yeah. Better late than never, ain't it? Yeah. My little homeboy from Norfolk. Yeah, this is his phone. I ain't got no phone. Damn, man. Yeah, man. He got me on lowland. His mouth was like this. He was happy. He was trying to hold a smile. And he was like, yeah, they got me on lowland. Yeah. How your mama doing? Yeah, man. Man. Ain't that something? Yeah. Man. I made it just in time for your graduation. Baby girl, I gotta get you something. Dang, man, let everybody know, man. Man, I gotta get you something. I don't even want to ask for no money right now. I mean, I'll use whatever you could give me. Because I ain't got nothing but what's on my books. Hey, can she text this number back? How you text? I was like, man, I ain't got time for a tutorial on that, man. I was like, yeah, tell her she could text it back. He was like, look. Yeah, I love you too, baby. Yeah. I ain't gonna hold up. Look, I ain't gonna be too long on this, man. I'm scared of the motherfucker with this phone. I ain't gonna be too long, but yeah. I love you, girl. He gave the phone back. It's so crazy, but now they talk to his daughter, you know what I mean, on a cell phone, like never. Like cell phones weren't even invented yet when he was out, man. When he was out, dudes was using the big New Jack City phones, man. The big great junks that you got that junk like a walkie-talkie. They were using walkie-talkies when Unc was out there, y'all. So boom, he was late. Like, that's all we can say about this whole situation. He was late. He got locked up when Shaq got drafted, man. Like, a lot of things went on in 92, man. Like, he got locked up a long time ago. So, you know what I mean? He could be late, man. I'm late. to a degree. So this is how I go, man. So he was appreciative. He was happy that I let him use the jack. I ain't even gonna lie, like, we kind of got cooler after that. He was like, yo, that's what's up, man. Like, he was able to talk to his daughter, you know what I mean? So the first day that I seen him go outside and play basketball, though, that's what kind of changed everything. He go outside to play basketball. I go out there and jump. So he out there on the court. Of course, he's one of the oldest dudes on the court. There's a couple of older other dudes his age is balling. But he out there playing in the paint. So he checking a young dude, and his defense just too aggressive, man. Like, you know, dudes be fouling in penitentiary and stuff, but he out there balling, so he get into it with the dude, which was over something stupid, man. And I kind of like just started like feeling Unc style. Like Unc was just all right at first, man. Like I mean, now that we done got cool, he know about the jack. It was like me and him got a little cooler. So like seeing him outside balling was just, I ain't understand why he would like do that, but I guess it's for exercise. That's what a lot of people say. So he get into it with the little young boy. The little young boy talking trash. Little young boy talking trash is my word. So whatever had happened, it leaked back into the pod. So when I looked up, because I came back in the pod, I ain't paying no, it didn't get that deep on the pod. It didn't get that crazy on the court that I had to really watch him or nothing like that. But when I came back in the pod, I already went upstairs by my cell and I was standing by the laundry area leaning over the tier. So I could see everybody coming in the pod, and I looked, and Unc came in the pod like this. Bernard walked in, he was like, shh. He hit the steps, he was like, and then haul ass up the steps. He got his door, he was like, I see y'all. She popped his door, he went in the joint. I'm like, everybody walked in, dude was like, yo, I think your old head about to fight Weezy. I'm like, oh, he was like, he about to fight a dude to sleep downstairs. I'm like, what? I started walking around the tier. When I came around the tier, I got to his door. He was in the cell, he was messing with something. He was like, open his door up. I'm like, hey, yo. I was like, Bernard, what's up? You good? He turned around, he had a homemade, I don't know how he made this joint. Or how did he get this joint? Because he just got on the compound. So I didn't understand. No, I was clueless. I was clueless, man, about all of this, man. This man on the compound, not even a week yet. I'm like, so he turned around, he like, and I'm looking at him. And I'm like, I wanted to say, like, if you would have read my brain, I'm like, bro, you 6'1", 240. What the hell you got this damn knife for? He like, I said, yo, I was about to hit him with the Friday junk. What's that for? I ain't say that. I'm like, yo, Bernard, what you doing with that? He was like, I'm about to go put work in. I said, man, listen, bro. We on Lawrenceville now, bro. You wildin'. He was like, what the hell that mean? I said, bro, didn't you just talk to your daughter? When I said that, there had to have been a script tonight, because that calmed him down. I said, didn't you just talk to your daughter? He was like, yeah. I said, well, look, man, look, if you about to, I said, you about to stab this guy? I said, man, dudes don't be getting stabbed on Lawrenceville, man. Dudes use these, man. He was like, they do? I was like, yeah. I was like, where you just come from with this all knife play? He was like, yeah. I was like, look, you ain't got to do that. I said, what you call this, lowland, right? I said, you on lowland. You don't got to crash out like that. You don't got to do that. I said, now if it get to that, then it is what it is. I said, but if it ain't, use these. He was like, I said, man, I'm going to hold you down, man. I felt like I was just trying to calm him down. So it went till, I'm going to hold you down, man. If you want to fight, like, I'm going to hold you down. You ain't got to do that. He was like, he went back to his little stash. He put it up. He was like, come on. We walked out the joint. He came out the joint behind him. He came out the cell before me, hit the steps. He was like, he get down the steps fast. He get down there, he see dude. He was like, what's happening? What's happening? What's good? What's happening? I ain't never seen Unc turn to this mode yet. He's like, what's happening? What's good? What's happening? Dude was like, come on in here. Come on in here. Yeah, this little homeboy's over there. I ain't even say what dude was from. This was nuts, because people probably remember this word. Unc walked over that jump. Word, he was on the bottom tier. Unc walked over there. Unc went in the cell. Unc was like, what's up? First they was in there arguing. Yeah, he was doing this. Yeah, I don't care if I'm new to the compound or nothing. Y'all ain't gonna do this. I'm like, what was he hiding? I told y'all when I first seen him come in the pod, I seen the psycho in him. I saw it. He was just hiding it, but he couldn't hide it for long. You know what I mean? Like, we're general maniacs, but don't bring it out of us, y'all. I promise you, we can get ugly, y'all. So boom, he's down there arguing with this dude. They in the cell arguing. I'm like, hell, I'm doing, man. Down. Yeah, so what's up then? What's up then? The dude he fighting probably a little shorter than him, but had a little size to him too. Man, that's my word. Square off. I'm like, man, about time they square off in the jump. On your then I jump gone. I look. I'm looking at Unc fighting style. Unc look like he know what he doing. I'm like, hell, but nah. Look at dude, his homeboys right there. I'm like, but ain't nobody thinking about doing no jumping, because the riot joints you get off Lawrenceville. You know what I mean? So nobody's thinking about that. So it's one-on-one. They hold him down, holding him down. So I'm watching. I'm like, so he going there. They wreck hard. They get a good joint in. My word, man. Like, it was a good fight. I can't say that Bernard got him or he got Bernard. They both was hitting each other. They both was throwing each other around. Nobody got slammed. They both showed that they super duper strong. So it was like a tie, you know what I mean? So after a while, they got locked up. It was like, man, come on, man. We went in the jump. I grabbed Bernard. I like, yo, come on, let him go. Let him go. Bernard had him in the hell. I like, let him go. Bernard was like, he gave a nigga a quick knee. I was like, come on, man. I pulled him off. He was like, he did like a little stupid laugh. I was pulling him out. We got on the part. I was like, hey, man, chill out, man. He was like, yeah. Dude, yeah, you think he's sweet then? Keep trying. Keep trying. You think he's sweet then? Yeah, if you think he's sweet then, keep trying. I was like, dude, come on. Dude was like, you ain't do nothing. Yeah, you ain't do nothing, you know what I mean? It's like, man, that junk crazy, man. So they got into it. It was another dude that knew me. He pull up on me from dude neighborhood, from dude city. He pull up on me like, hey, look, Weezy, man, all that old head, man. He was like, man, I knew him from the mountains. We ain't speak. But he was like, he all right, dude, man. He don't be pushing nothing, man. That's why I told my nephew, He was like, see, you can holler at him, man. We trying to get that junk alleviated for him, be no problems in the pod. So I'm like, all right, I'll do that. So I pull up on him. I say, yo, Bernard, let me holler at you. He was like, what's up? He was still kind of amped up from the situation. I'm like, hey, look. Man, they said they're trying to get that situation resolved. I said, they trying to get that situation resolved, man. You know what I mean? For him to be he was like, I ain't got no problem with Youngie. Yeah, but I ain't the average old dude. Yeah, I ain't the average old dude. They gotta know that. Yeah, I still work out. I still kick your ass. I don't play no games. You ain't gonna disrespect me. None of that shit. You see what you had to stop me? I said, look, we don't want to go through that again. I said, because next time I ain't stopping you. If you want to be a psycho like that and just leave your daughter, leave Lawrenceville, leave using the phone. I said, you want to go back to fucking fighting over the wall phone? Be my guest, nigga. So boom. I ain't say that, man, because Uncle Maniac, man. But I'm like, nah, listen, you need to really, like, just think about where you at. Just chill out, you know what I mean? You on low land, like you say. You like, yeah, that's what's up, that's what's up. All right, that's what's up. I'm like, man, just chill, man, you know what I mean? So him and dude ended up talking, squashing the beef. Beef was over with. So no problem with him and dude. So I said like a week go by, another week go by. His daughter ended up calling the phone. His daughter called the phone. And it was crazy because I'm on this is a week with me with the phone. Bro done went home and everything. I let him know dude ain't get out the hole yet. You know what I mean? So I was just waiting for dude to get out the hole so he can get the money and I can give him his phone. You know what I mean? But in the meantime, I'm using this joint. You know what I mean? So his daughter ended up calling the joint. So his daughter called the joint, man. She was like, look, can you tell my daddy I got some money for him, you know what I mean? She was like, well, look, I'm gonna put it on a green dot. She was like, I got a cousin that's locked up on St. Bride's and he be telling me to put money on green dot. She was like, can y'all get green dots? I was like, yeah. She was like, if I get him a green dot, will you be able to give him the numbers and that it's still gonna be good? She was like, because my cousin told me niggas be getting beat. I was like, no. I was like, no, I mess with your pops, man. I was like, nah, you good. She was like, all right, well, look, here, write these numbers down. I'm like, oh, you got it down? She was like, yeah. So I wrote the numbers down, you know what I mean? She was like, look, tell him it's 200. I'm like, it's 200. She like, yeah, tell him it's 200. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this junk crazy, man. So she give me the numbers. You know what I mean? So I get the numbers. We come out. I tell I said, yo, Bernard, I call him. He's like, what's up? I said, man, your daughter called, man. I said, she ain't put no money on your books, but she gave you this. He was like, what's this, Weezy? I said, it's $200 green dot. He was like, green dot? $200? Why she ain't put it on my books? I was like, because she bought it on green dot. I said, she knows somebody, one of y'all relatives that's on another camp that be getting green dots. He said, what am I supposed to do with a piece of paper, Weezy? I said, bro, it's $200 on that paper, man. I said, you can spend that and get stuff. I said, you want some tobacco? I said, you like tobacco, don't you? I said, you want some tobacco? I said, you get some tobacco, you will be able to get enough tobacco to mess with, and you will get enough tobacco to sell. I said, no, it's up to you. This is what these numbers are for. You do stuff like this. You don't got to wait on your commissary bag with numbers. It's basically what I'm telling you, Bernard. Like, it's a different ballgame. He like, since you put it like that, then, yeah, it's right here. Who I give it to? You know who to give it to somebody? I was like, nah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce you to the dude in our block that got the tobacco. You know what I mean? Now, it was this one dude in the block who got the tobacco, man. We're going to call him Miz, man. Now, Miz was a little quiet dude, a little light-skinned, brown-skinned dude, lighter than me, used to wear the glasses, had curly hair. He didn't bother nobody, but was he a cream puff? He definitely was. He was one of those dudes that was from one of them little counties. It wasn't Lawrenceville County or Emporia County. It was one of them other joints, but he was from out there, pretty boy gang, you know what I mean? Always in a woman face, but he ended up getting a situation with the tobacco, but he didn't get la-la, he got the tobacco. So he used to be in the bar pod messing with the tobacco. Dudes didn't bother him because he was in 60 build. He really wasn't around the wolves and a bunch of psychos like in 40 and 30. He wasn't around nothing like that. So he was able to survive. Like, nobody was messing with him, man. But he was a cool dude. When I needed a 50 sack of the Hank, I'll go holler at him and scold. Like, that was simple. You know what I mean? It was right there in the pod. So he had it like that. You know what I mean? So I'm like, man, I'm gonna introduce you to him. And then y'all just, you know what I mean, make the play. So I go holler at the dude. I pull up on him. I say, yo, look. You know what I mean? I said, yo, look. I said, yo. I said, you know, my old head just came in here. He was like, oh, boy, hey, dude. I'm like, yeah. I was like, look. I said, man, say word, man. Sister just gave him $200. You know what I mean? I said, I got the numbers right here. I was like, I told him I was gonna introduce y'all if I can stop being the middleman. You know what I mean? I was like, but it's the $200 lot. I said, you check the joints when you know what I mean? I said, but he trying to get some hate. You know what I mean? I was like, look, play fair on him, man. I was like, man, you know you're a psycho, man. So he was like, I really don't want to deal with him, though. Just let me deal with you. I said, nah, because I ain't trying to be the middleman. I said, he got to learn how to do this shit anyway, man. I said, man, he been on the mountains forever. I said, now he on lowland. He was like, what? I was like, he got me saying that dumbass shit. I said, now he on Lawrenceville. And now, you know what I mean? He got to learn how to do this shit for his own. You know what I mean? So he like, I tell him how let me. So Unc came over there. They do the joint. He gave him the numbers. Bro disappeared because bro had a jack. You know what I mean? He disappeared. Next thing you know, he come back out. He called old head. He called Bernard. Bernard went in his cell. When Bernard came out of his cell, he looked at me. He was like, hey, Weezy, hey, you got an extra roll of toilet paper in there? I was like, yeah. He was like, let me get some. I was like, all right, come on. So we walking. We get up the steps. I'm like, we hit the corner. I'm like, you really do need some toilet paper? He was like, nah. So I open the door. We going to jump. He pull out his joint. He pull out a nice sack of tobacco. He was like, what I'm gonna do with all this? I was like, man, that's $200 worth, man. I said, man, you need to call your daughter and thank her for that, man. Right now, man. I said, because you back. I said, you back with that, man. I'm gonna show you how to bag up the roll-ups and you back. He was like, yeah, that's why I'm trying to get the lowland. He said, damn. He said, you think I can sell some of this like for money? I was like, yeah. He said, man, because I'm trying to get my daughter, I'm trying to get her a graduation gift. I'm like, I mean, you got $200 worth of Hank. I said, it's a double up, definitely. I said, how much you was trying to send her? He was like, at least $200. I said, well, you could probably sell $200. I said, I'll try to find you a play for you can put that together. He was like, all right. So he was happy. You know what I mean? So we up there messing with the tobacco. Chilling. We go down the steps. We come out the bar. We hanging over the railing. We chilling. You know what I mean? I see young boy, the little dude that got the tobacco. You know what I mean? The dude Miz. He come out. He like, because his cell is under us, you know what I mean? So he come out from his cell. I guess they was like, they up there. He was like, hey, Bernard, right? Uncle was like, yeah. He was like, hey, look, those numbers ain't right. Man.
Get your money, don't care who judge. Stay out the way, surround yourself with nothing but love. Stay out the way if you a gangster, killer or thug. Stay out the way, put your faith in the man above. Stay out the way, chill with your family, siblings and blood. Stay out the way, kick it with your girl, forget hit in the club. Stay out the way, mind on your money, ain't no switching it up. Stay out the way, stand out the way, what you thought that it was. Stay out the way, if you stuck down on your luck, not feeling righteous. Did a petty crime, just looking for some excitement. Now your name on affidavits and court indictments. Get paid for a lot, but your freedom is priceless. You did the crime, you do the time, don't let it surprise you. Real stories from the heart just to open your eyes up.